Welcome back from lunch break, Bob. This is part 2 of Jiraiya vs. Sasuke. If you haven't watched part 1, you probably should. It sets baselines, but if you know Naruto, it's not that big of a deal. It still makes sense. I am still sick in this, as promised in part 1. I am better now. I finally kicked the illness that, I just had the same thing that Naruto had in Boruto, but I'm good now.
I agree. I think that Imperfect Sage Mode Jiraiya does beat Curse Mark 2 Sasuke. Now, at that point, he loses after he fights Itachi, he loses his curse mark, but he gains his Mangekyo. Now, how do you think that changes things? Because now Sasuke gets a chakra boost as well.
Yeah, Mangekyo, I think, Mangekyo's busted. It's...
Let's use the version of him when he's like, maybe going up against B. Because I think when he was fighting B, he had Amaterasu. Granted, he couldn't spam it because he could lose his vision and it still took a lot of chakra out of him. But he has that ability. And let's also give him maybe Imperfect Susano. How do you think that matches up against Jiraiya, who has access to Sage Mode and everything else?
So he has all of his, Mangekyo abilities, but no Eternal Mangekyo yet.
No Eternal Mangekyo yet.
I think Jiraiya wins, to be honest. Again, I gotta think about it, but Amaterasu is gonna be troublesome. And I will say, Sasuke is actually a worse matchup at this point for Jiraiya than Itachi is. Itachi's really good, but I don't think he's gonna get Tsukiyomi out on Jiraiya like he did on Kakashi. I could be wrong about that. And I do think Blaze Release is a nightmare matchup for Jiraiya. The fact that
is true.
Sasuke, yeah, exactly. Not only can he make black flames, which when Jiraiya, Itachi used black flames to get out of the stomach thing. Jiraiya's damn, this thing's dangerous. I'm not even gonna touch it. I'm gonna use a sealing technique on this. And with Blaze Release, he doesn't have the time to seal all of these. I don't know what his game plan is going to be against Amaterasu, but Blaze Release lets, Sasuke turn those into, arrows and whatnot. So, base Sasuke, we talked about his lightning techniques a lot, but, I really didn't see his fire techniques doing anything to Jiraiya. And with Amaterasu, now it's kind of flipped, I think the thing that helps Jiraiya the most is that Sasuke still has an extremely limited chakra pool at this point, right? I think Sasuke had 3 fights with the Mangekyo before he went blind and needed the Eternal Mangekyo. The guy well, not fully blind but almost blind. He just speed ran that. So he can't just spam them, or if he did, it would be a life or death situation, and it's actually taking a toll on him as well.
Yeah, so we know that Sasuke can definitely win with Amaterasu. And do you think he can win without it?
No, I think Susanoo is not going to help at all against Jiraiya if Jiraiya is
really?
Especially able. Yeah, because if Jiraiya is able to get into Sage Mode, right? I think that's what matters. If Sasuke has Susanoo, it's going to help him a lot in the early game. But I think if Jiraiya gets into Sage Mode, I think Jiraiya's Imperfect Sage Mode would destroy Sasuke's Susanoo. I think Blaze Release is way more dangerous, and he has some interesting techniques. Doesn't he coat Susanoo's ribs in the flames of Amaterasu? Yeah, that's a nightmare, right? You know what I mean, for Jiraiya. But I think without techniques like that, I think Jiraiya can actually just fight Sasuke's Susanoo if it's just Susanoo. You know what I mean? I actually think Blaze Release is what makes the matchup trickier, because Sasuke's really tricky with how he uses Amaterasu. Honestly, when you said everything before about how smart Jiraiya is, and it just reminded me that Sasuke's a dumbass. He almost died to Deidara, he almost dies to Killer Bee, he almost dies to Itachi, he almost dies to the Raikage, he almost dies to the Mizukage. Yeah, let me calm down here. Yeah, I don't need to name every single Naruto character right now.
Yeah,
but
well, this is
yeah. So I was just even if he's got busted stats in terms of strength and speed, he's kind of rash, and Jiraiya's very calm, and he's probably gonna punish like young Sasuke faster, like really fast. You know what I mean? Just as a patient player, like I think Pain was able to beat Jiraiya because Pain also played the chess game against him. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, but yeah, like he definitely beats like Sasuke without Mangekyo. With Mangekyo though, like I think it's this might be like a true 50-50 fight, just because like Sasuke had zero defensive techniques before, and just by virtue of the like blaze release like rib shield, like this has exponentially I think increased his odds of winning just by having one devastating defensive technique or counter technique.
Yeah. Which
What are you
again,
thinking?
well, I'm thinking, I'm agreeing. So the thing is, I'm also thinking about like the process of him getting into Sage mode and whatnot, because the thing is, that might take him a bit more time than Sasuke just whipping out the Mangekyo. So, and I think the thing is, Sasuke at some point, I mean, I guess it is really a matter of who pulls out what first, because I think if Jiraiya manages to pull out Sage mode first, it does give him um, an easier path to victory and puts Sasuke in a position where he has to play more defensive, but he may be able to kind of get enough damage in. Sasuke is able to create a scenario though where they both end up losing, where Sasuke takes critical damage, but he also uses Amaterasu, and unless Jiraiya does something, super um, super dramatic, he's gonna die. So I do think that the thing is also Mangekyo almost ruins everything, because now everything just becomes like almost like an automatic win for the Mangekyo user. So part of me leans towards Sasuke. Granted, again, I know that he has very limited use of that technique, but it is such a like devastating technique that it's something that I think even Jiraiya might not have a good answer for. I mean, granted, his best chance would be to get into Sage mode as soon as possible, and also use some sort of they use that genjutsu or some sort of other technique that can kind of incapacitate Sasuke. But
Oh
I
yeah,
think
the sound one. That's a I think a
exactly,
sage technique though, right?
it is a Sage technique, and that's why I'm saying it would require Jiraiya kind of, going into Sage mode as soon as possible, because I think the longer he tries to fight Sasuke in base, the slimmer his chances of winning become. Because I don't think Sasuke is the type of person who really kind of like hesitates to use his Mangekyo once he realizes that it's necessary for him to win a fight.
Yeah, I do agree overall with that assessment. I'm probably leaning still more towards Jiraiya because
Mm-hmm.
um I think Sasuke does not have an unlimited reserve of Mangekyo. Like he
Yeah.
can only do things a limited amount of time, and I think Jiraiya's endurance is a big factor. Again, if they're fighting in like
True.
a ring, I think like Sasuke easily wins. Just, but I think if they're not fighting in the ring, like the main win con I think is can Jiraiya get into Sage mode? Because like if Sasuke is
Yeah.
able to prevent that, then no. Like then it's really hard for Jiraiya to win because I don't think Jiraiya can like actually fight Sasuke with Susanoo like in base form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gamabunta will help. I don't think it'll be enough. Yeah, like no, Gamabunta would be unfortunately cut open by Susanoo, which I would not want to see. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it would be really necessary for Jiraiya to get into Sage mode, but I think it's possible, right? Like I think he would be able to avoid. Uh, I don't know. It's hard to say, right? Because like I think he would be able to, right? Because like if I go through the list of like who Sasuke lost to, it's like I mean they're very strong people, but it would be people that like who's stronger, Killer Bee, Base, or Jiraiya? I'm not sure. It's pretty close, and like
Mm-hmm.
Killer Bee was able to take out all four of them at once. You know what I mean? Without even
I'm gonna
really
give it
needed.
to B.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it to B.
yeah. Oh, I'm saying Base without like Jinchuriki or anything.
Yeah.
Um, so like I don't know, like yeah, like who's stronger, the Raikage or Jiraiya? Like these are all like good matchups in my opinion. So
Yeah, that's
like
true.
yeah, it's really hard to say. Like even if we do edge it out to Raikage or something, like my point is like Raikage, like yeah, he did lose an arm to Sasuke, and Sasuke was able to escape, but like it didn't look like Sasuke was winning that 1v1. You know what I mean? It
Okay.
was looking pretty bad. And also, let's not forget that like Sasuke still required his team for support to even get the damage out that he did on Killer Bee and Raikage. And in a 1v1, like, he doesn't have that support, right? His endurance and HP is a lot less, because every time he'd take critical damage, he'd be like, Karin, give me a little nibble. Yum, 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 yum. And then
Yeah.
Jugo would transfer his flesh over. So, like, yeah, my point being that, like, Sasuke, I think, like, a lot of his feats that he didn't even barely, like, pull off, that he lost to, like, he needed help for. Like, the one win that I think actually, like, throws all of this, makes this, like, complicated, is his beating, like, him beating Danzo. Like, that was pretty good.
I was waiting for you to bring that up. I was like, bro, you forgot he beat Danzo?
Yeah, bro, that was pretty good. Like, I don't know how many people could beat Danzo at that point. And, that's future videos for us to make. But, like, I don't know. It's tough. This might be a true 50-50, but, like, yeah, I think okay, once we could circle back to, like, if Jiraiya is able to get into Sage Mode this fight, but once, or if Jiraiya is able to be in Sage Mode, do you think he stands a chance against Mangekyo Sasuke, or?
I think he does stand a chance because, one, I think he has a lot of techniques at his disposal at that point, and I think he's also able to again use the sound genjutsu technique, which I think does take time to kind of pull out, but once it's activated, I think it almost becomes like an instant win for him. Because I don't think there's any way to break out of that, and I also think that um I also think that if he's able to use shadow clones too, I know that's debatable. I don't know. It is I will say I see where you're coming from, and when you say it's like a 50-50 fight, because I just think that Jiraiya just has a higher he just has to do a lot more to get the win, and Sasuke just has to literally just open his eyes and point and shoot. So I just feel like it's just going to require a lot more effort on Jiraiya's part. Not that he can't do it, but that's what makes me hesitate and want to give it a little bit leaning towards Sasuke, even with the Sage Mode. But then again, you reminded me that Sage Mode is super powerful. But what could Sage Mode really do in this instance is the one thing I keep coming back to.
Well, in my opinion, like, if Jiraiya is able to get like a couple of giant ball Rasengans, I think he just wins the
Oh
fight, right?
yeah,
Like,
I totally
giant ball
forgot.
Ras yeah, and it's also big enough where he might be able to damage Sasuke without actually having the rib, like, the blaze release ribs hit him. So, like, I think it's extremely possible. I actually think that, like, in Sage Mode, the matchup is quite reversed in terms of, like, what is Sasuke gonna do against Sage Mode Jiraiya. And also, like, let's not forget that, like, once he's in Sage Mode, from what I understand, his stamina increases quite a bit, and
Yeah,
Sasuke, while using Susanoo, has, like, no stamina. I think, like, the one thing that I'm disagreeing on is that, like, the Mangekyo is extremely draining. Like, Sasuke can
it
fight for
is.
maybe 30-40 minutes, I think, tops, if he's blasting techniques, right? Because, like, if you think about how many fights he had, like the Danzo fight, the Killer Bee, like the Raikage, like, he doesn't use that many Mangekyo techniques before, like, he's, like, about to go blind. So, like, I think, like, even if in base Jiraiya, if Jiraiya's able to actually dodge, like, a bunch of his techniques, which I think is actually low key possible if they're fighting in the woods. Like, Sasuke uses a lot of very linear techniques, and, like, I don't know. I feel like Jiraiya's. This might be, like, just my, like, interpretation of Jiraiya, but I feel like he's mainly counters, like, linear thought with, like, very, like, circular thought. You know what I mean? And, like, maybe from, like, sparring with Orochimaru, like, he's just used to like,
Oh
being
yeah, tricky
outspeeded,
people.
yeah, and outstrengthed, yeah. Because, yeah, so, like, I don't know. I think, like, the onus is actually on Sasuke to take out Jiraiya fast enough before he goes blind, which I think is actually, like, a different, like, this isn't some Edo Tensei Sasuke, with the infinite chakra. Like, every time he uses Mangekyo, it is actively hurting him. You know what I mean? So that's why I think, like, this is actually a really tough matchup for like, Sasuke. Like, especially if we're saying Jiraiya knows how to counter Mangekyos, he'll know that, like, a battle of attrition is winnable. Or is, like, the way to win. And if he's able to slow down the pace against like, Sasuke, I think, can very realistically lose.
That is true. And I think the one thing again is I think Jiraiya has the ability to make people fight on his own terms, more than most other fighters or ninjas in the Naruto universe. So I always want to kind of give his craftiness like the edge, just because, again, like what business does this guy have going up against like the six paths of pain, you know? And then even like doing as well as he did. So I see where you're coming from. I guess my biggest hesitation has just always been, and it's only because we don't see that many fights with Jiraiya that I can't say with confidence how easy it is for him to get into Sage Mode. But if it was like easy for him to get into Sage Mode, then I'm 100% with you. And I do think that, again, the one advantage that Jiraiya has is he has like heavy hitter moves. Like even if Sasuke was to break out like Susanoo, he could just again like summon like one of those toads and just like drop it right on top of him and try to crush Susanoo before it fully develops, or even if it is partly developed. So those things still work towards his advantage, and I'm still gonna hold on to that sound genjutsu because he has that and he has so many other techniques as well. So for those reasons, 50-50, I guess we can say slight edge Jiraiya. Or at least that's what I'll say. But now I think we've reached a point where the conversation flips, because now what happens once Sasuke gets Eternal Mangekyo? Is it just straight up KO?
Yeah, I think no div. Like Eternal
GG's?
Mangekyo's like a
Too
massive power
broken?
boost. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the second most broken power up. Well, maybe third. It's hard to say, but like, it's just busted. It's like, yeah, it's insane. I mean, there's nothing Jiraiya can do against Eternal Mangekyo, because like at this point, like I think stamina gets reversed, right? Because the Eternal Mangekyo
Mm-hmm.
like essentially gives you infinite chakra, from what I understand, if you're using like your
Seemingly.
Mangekyo techniques. Yeah,
Yeah, because the way they used the moves and the techniques, it didn't seem like it was taking uh it didn't seem like it was a burden on Sasuke at all compared to before.
yeah, and you can't go blind from it. So like now, like I think the endurance advantage goes to like Sasuke.
A hundred
Um,
percent.
Yeah, and like I think once Sasuke has the endurance advantage, like this kind of like shifts. To be honest, because like Sasuke's biggest counter is like waiting him out, right? Like just like have
Mm-hmm.
him like whiff a couple attacks and like burn out his like strongest techniques, and like there's really not much he can do. And like we've seen this kind of like consistently. Like he's kind of like a one trick pony, and like if you're able to actually survive that one trick, like he's kind of screwed. You know what I mean? Like I feel like after Kirin did not work against Itachi, he did not have a plan B. He was just like, oh no, like that's like
Mm-hmm.
that's all he planned for. You know what I mean? So like,
Exactly.
yeah. So that's why I think like he wouldn't beat Jiraiya. You know what I mean? The previous two times, but now I think like even if it doesn't work, he could just do it again. He's got the internal Mangekyo like Sharingan, you know, like also like Susanoo becomes busted, right? Like this isn't like some weak half Susanoo from the Mangekyo that's just torso and ribs and like a sword. Like this is like an actual fucking Megazord that they have summoned from like Power Rangers. Like
And you
what is
think
Jiraiya
Gamabunta
supposed to do?
can't hold his own against it?
No, not even a little bit. Are you kidding me? Like Susanoo, like an actual perfect Susanoo? No
Well,
shot,
not
bro.
perfect Susanoo. How about the one where it's like from the waist up?
Oh, like the imperfect Susanoo or whatever it's
Yeah.
called. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I think Gamabunta can hold its own against like a couple of them. Like, for instance, I don't think it can beat Itachi's one because it's got that like the sword of
Mm-hmm.
Nunaboko or whatever. Oh, no, that's the other sword, but the one that puts you in a dream. So like that one probably not a good matchup. Like, I mean, Itachi's Susanoo was so broken they had to kill him off immediately after showing it. But like sorry, yeah, Itachi's. But for Sasuke, like his is a ranged one. So I think if Gamabunta gets in close, he could probably just like out wrestle the dude.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. But once the Susanoo gets legs, then it's a wrap, right?
Oh yeah, Perfect Susanoo is broken. It shouldn't even be. It's so broken. Like I don't know. Like there's, I think like what's stronger than like Perfect Susanoo? Like maybe like perfect. Sorry, six path Sage mode and QB Chakra mode. Like that's it.
That's true. That's true. It is pretty much there is pretty much only two things after that.
Yeah, that's stronger. And both of them are locked to Naruto versus like there are way more Eternal Mangekyo users, even if it's like four. They also get like I feel like a speed boost. I don't know if that's canon or whatnot, but like the characters just keep getting faster in the series, and like we're just
Mm-hmm.
supposed to accept it. You know what I
Oh, that's
mean?
true.
Well, no, Sasuke was only able to keep up after he died, right? And then he got the Renegon, which makes even less sense actually, because Pain had the Renegon and Sasuke was arguably much faster than Pain. You know what? Power scaling in Naruto's because sometimes makes no sense.
I agree with you there. But we're gonna definitely say like at that point once he gets the Eternal Mangekyo. So let's okay. So we know that Eternal Mangekyo Sasuke wins. That's not a surprise to anybody. But maybe let's just revisit the question we brought up in the beginning about when does Sasuke surpass Sannin level. So are we gonna should should we say it's when he gets Mangekyo period because that's when the fight became more 50-50. And keep in mind that we were saying Jiraiya had to go into Sage mode for that. Or do you give it to him even earlier than that?
I would probably give it to him earlier than that, to be honest, right? Because like
Yeah, I would agree.
it's hard to say because like one like if I compare like Sasuke to the strongest Kages, yeah, he'd get wrecked, but like Sannin is like just means your Kage level, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
essentially saying that like Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade hit Kage level. But this is coming from a dude that they fought to a stalemate in a 3v1. You know what I mean? Like Hanzo, like that's like
Yeah.
they didn't even win that fight and they had the numbers advantage and like some dude is just like, man, these children are strong. They're probably Kage level. So like what does Sannin even mean really?
Yeah, I would say he gets it sooner than that too, because that's what I was saying earlier too. Like they were named Sannin. I mean, granted, we know them as the Sannins once they enter the Naruto, or once we see Naruto, like they're like much more developed than they were during that time. Like they've learned a lot more techniques since then. So Sannin almost doesn't even mean what it meant when they were first named that. So I agree with you. If we go with the original um, designation of the title, Sasuke probably reached that much earlier.
Yeah, I think like there's an argument for your Sannin as soon as you're able to and I don't know if this is going to be controversial, summon, right? Like the big
Mm.
version, right? Because like that's kind of what's unique about the Sannin, at least in my head canon. So Naruto coming
I
in
was gonna say Naruto
to
was Sannin level as a kid, as a
yeah,
genin.
because he's the first one to summon Gamabunta. So arguably, even though he was the furthest from Jiraiya at that point, because Sasuke was might have surpassed Itachi Orochimaru, without arms, and then like we talked about this. Like Sakura's like 80% Tsunade at this point. She's close.
She
She's
is.
close. She's
So
like
not.
died
I mean,
Tsunade.
let's not sleep on Sakura. Sakura. I mean, granted, I think Sakura had less techniques to learn, and the fact that she was already so good at chakra control, which is the main thing behind Tsunade's techniques, that kind of like she was kind of made, in a sense, to rival Tsunade, or at least clearly be as strong as her eventually. So Sakura definitely like scaled up to Sannin level pretty quickly during the time skip. Almost, I mean, okay, I don't want to divert
Yeah,
this
this
whole
is a whole
conversation.
nother video. Yeah,
I
this is
just
not
want
a
to quickly
Sakura
say,
appreciation hour yet. Yeah.
yeah, this isn't Sakura Appreciation Hour yet, but I will just quickly say that as far as like who made the most growth during the time skip without taking ninja roids, it was clearly Sakura.
Yeah, but with ninja roids, and again, I stand by this. We have no proof that Tsunade, a medical professional, did not uh administer medically controlled supplements. Just they're called supplements, then they're not called drugs, but same concept. There's no proof of that. Yeah.
There's no proof that she did. We do know that Sasuke definitely did take some ninja roids, though. We
Yeah,
know that
one
for
hundred
sure.
percent. And including the ninja roids, Sasuke definitely had the strongest glow up. I feel like that's the whole reason
Including
why
it,
we're
yes.
yeah, that's why we're even having this conversation, right? Because we were like, can Sasuke actually take Jiraiya right from the get go? And probably not. But like, that's not an argument we have with Naruto or Sakura. They'd get bitch slapped by Jiraiya like right from the get go. Like Sasuke's
Yeah.
definitely had the biggest glow up.
Yeah. So, all right then. I think that pretty much answers the question then of what Naruto versus what Sasuke versus Jiraiya looks like. So, any last thoughts?
Yeah, he gets clapped until he gets the Eternal Mangekyo. He can't do it unless he has four eyes.
All right, clapped is a bit extreme, but I take your
Clapped.
point.
Clapped, I say.
All right, all right. Well, we definitely know that the Sasuke defenders are going to be in the comment section, but feel free to let us know what you think down below, and let us know what other fights that we should be doing in the future.
I think compared to some of our other conversations, this is probably the nicest I've been to Sasuke, right? I think.
Yeah, just to let the audience know, this is definitely the nicest he's been to Sasuke. So
Yeah.
we took it easy on him this time.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna get worse. Sasuke haters, get ready.